Hi, it's Etharal here for eGen, and today I'm going to be starting the first of my Skyrim Let's Plays. So this one is going to be just focusing on a node, and I've got a lot of mods that I do have installed. I will talk those through as we are going. The basic ones though that you will notice pretty early on is that I have the Frostfall mod for the cold weathers in Skyrim. I also as well have Hunterborn. So, able to sort of be a bit more flexible with the hunting aspect of the game. And also as well, I've got immersive weapons and armor mods. Loads of other ones, obviously there you've just seen there. I've got one which adds a lot of different eye colours. Basically just generally adding some extra stuff in to help with the immersion for the game. I obviously like to play this as quite a roleplay sort of game. And so that is something that I very much would have picked up my mods, because I do want to make a more immersive mod. I am looking at getting needing a drink and eat mod and everything like that, but I'm not going to do that at the minute, just until I've gotten to grips with obviously the Frostfall, Hunterborn mods and everything. You will also notice that everything here is slightly different. Basically, I have actually got an alternate start mod, which will let me actually start in a slightly different sort of situation than just following the main quest, as I don't want to play the Dragonborn for this. So this guy, as you will have seen there, his name is Throgir. He is a node. He is obviously a node from Skyrim. It's his local land, and basically he has decided he's come of age and he wants to try being an adventurer. He has no idea what that's going to involve, so he sets out from home out into the woods. He probably comes from, like a small village or something like that, certainly not one of the main holds or anything, and he is going to set out into the wild and see if, he can make his fortune. So he sets out into the wild. Obviously it begins in this place here, and there is a dragon. So, great way to start off the game. This is something of a sign, I think, really, of who he might become in later things. But he starts out, he is just a hunter, basically. Got some basic leather armor and light armor, I believe, with furs and things like that. Something that's nice and warm for him, obviously, as well, with putting the Frostfall on. Not something we're wanting to play him as, though. I am going to actually play him as more of a heavy melee sort of guy. So, we are going to be changing this armor as soon as we do get to town and everything. So, he sets off on his first adventure, probably having gone on a little bit of a camping and everything. Manages to find this location where somebody seems to have set up a shop for a while. He is going to, being an adventurer, have to have a look around. Looks around for a little bit, doesn't seem to see anybody and everything like that, so thinks it must have been abandoned. And then, of course, as soon as he is actually taking the stuff for himself, who should show up but 3 bandits for the air. And so, obviously, he now has to actually fight his way out, which is obviously not something that he was expecting to have to do so early on. He does sort of get a little bit cowardly. He is obviously bleeding his health quite a bit, knows that it's something that he wouldn't be able to take them on in a straight fight, so does run off here. You will notice I am speeding up parts, editing all this together. This whole 20-minute video does equate to around about an hour and a half to 2 hours or so of game time. But here we go. He has circled back round. He has decided that he is still going to actually keep fighting them, but in a slightly different way, as obviously the original idea wasn't really working of just meeting them straight on. So he continues on, manages to pick them out from the tree, using the tree line across the road to manage to pick them out, steadily moving around and just trying to stay out of the way of their arrows as well. Obviously that is meaning that they are doing pretty much the exact same thing as well. He only has a couple of, 20 or so hours left, obviously, in terms of the steel arrows. Not something that's great. Obviously, he's going to have to need to watch that. If they were to disappear, then he would definitely be in a lot of trouble, really, as obviously he wouldn't then have any weapons whatsoever. Okay, so he's just been going, managing to steadily, there we go, we are down to the last guy here, so got a good chance, and just manages to dodge out of the way, and so we're going to have to just now do feel comfortable, and there we go, we managed to take all 3 of these guys down. And there we go. We shall now, Throgir shall now enjoy in the spoils of his actual victory. Managing to obviously grab some extra arrows and things like that, and everything to collect up from the battlefield. He then continues around with his raiding of this actual location, and also as well I'm going to pick up some of the local alchemy stuff. We are going to probably be doing some alchemy. I do tend to find it is really useful to be able to make your own potions and things like that. Certainly a lot cheaper. And we head off, deciding that we are going to sort of take all the stuff that we have gotten, and then we are obviously stopped by a strange man. I've got no clue who he is. Quite think it's safe to say that Throgir is quite confused by this. Not too sure what this person is. Just randomly giving you some enchanted axe and then ran off. So gonna sort of keep going, but we're not going to, use that axe anything just yet. And so, as I was mentioning, we are obviously collecting some alchemy stuff as well. Nice way to make some money and things like that, obviously, with the potions and everything. And so, going down the road, I think it's safe to say that Throgir did not realise just how many bandits and things like that there actually are out in the wilds in Skyrim. And so, he actually comes along this barricade thing. And so he is going to have to try and to take these guys out. He is definitely being careful to sneak around and things like that at the minute, as obviously he is not really in a condition to be able to fight himself directly on just yet. You will notice there I am now down to 1 steel arrow, which is something which we will definitely have to rectify, I believe, there. Okay, so skip ahead a bit. And so that is, there we go, we have just collected some items from that wolf as well that have been killed in a trap. Obviously, that is where I did realise that I don't have the mods actually on. I'd completely forgotten about getting those other ones set up, so we'll have to do that at some other point.
With official form or taking this man to be interrogated. He has knowledge. Now get out of my way.
Yeah, and there we go, seeing a little bit of the world itself with the Thalma elves, obviously, who sort of are partially sort of overlords, I guess, of the Empire and things like that. They're managing to make certainly demands to the Empire. And so they are obviously wandering around Skyrim doing their business, obviously, which will come into it in a little bit more detail, obviously, in the main story, but I won't get into that. I think I'm going to try and avoid the main story a little bit here. We'll obviously do some of the guild stories and things, but for the most part, we're just going to be sort of a general adventure rather than some massive world-saving person. And there we go, we have entered into Falkreath, so we go through and we're going to spend a bit of time actually selling all of the stuff that we have made. Oh, I say made, all the stuff that we have managed to collect from our adventure attacking those bandits. And also as well of going to, as I mentioned earlier, going to change into actually being a heavy guy. So we are going to look at picking up some iron armor, I believe it is the only one we can really afford. From the heavy armor, only one we can get at the minute. Being a Nord, obviously, I think it's safe to say we will obviously be going for like the steel Nordic stuff, and obviously there, as you see, the cloaks and everything like that from obviously the for the Frostfall mod. So we're just going to grab all of the armor that we need, and this is now what Throgir looks like. He is a obviously heavy iron armor, trying using two-handed weapons. So, well, not two-handed weapons, two one-handed weapons, not a two-handed weapon. I don't like really using two-handed weapon. I think it's a little bit too slow for my liking. I like things a little bit quicker. And we are going to start off the way that any roleplay, if anybody's ever played any Dungeons and Dragons and things like that, where else would you start with a quest but in the tavern? So we're going to go here, and we're also as well going to use some of that equipment and just do a couple of potions and some stuff like that, and then we will set this all up to go and do this miscellaneous side quest to go and kill the bandit leader. So we have a look where that is. That is quite far to the north and the east. You'll notice that I am just getting that set up, I've skipped ahead again a little bit. You'll notice I've gotten a cloak now and everything, and I have actually turned on all of my mods, so all the weather and everything like that will be working. Just to get ready for that, I obviously do want to collect some branches and everything, just to make sure that we've got all of the stuff that we need should there to be a storm. We need to make a campfire and things like that. And here we are testing out the Hunterborn mod, obviously, where it gives you a lot more options rather than just opening up a general menu. Obviously it does take time, but you're getting a lot more stuff from them. So we shall get this all sorted and then skip ahead again. We actually travel through the night this time, as obviously we just don't have the mods which obviously do require eating and sleeping and things like that, but obviously we will change that at a later date. Now, you'll notice here, as I am out on the night, I do come across 2 actual vampires. Not something that we wanted to have running around our Skyrim, so we are going to basically face them head on, and we are going to show them what it is that a node can do. And obviously we are playing on the sort of the normal difficulty here and everything, so certainly at the first levels this is something that we do need to actually use a couple of potions, things like that, just to keep healthy. We'll obviously have to look at getting some enchanted items when we can afford them or create them. And so we managed to take them down and travel through the night until eventually we do reach just south of the mine. And so they are skipping ahead here, just getting to the actual mine, and then we shall have Throgir do his first ever quest. So obviously there is a guy down there, standing guard. Needless to say, we take him out, and we shall leave it at that. And so we are now going to sneak into the actual mine. We are taking time to go nice and carefully, sneaking through obviously with our bow. If we can get the jump on some people, then that would be better. One thing we do see is we do see this trap. Not sure where I set it off, as obviously that is probably going to put them all on a little bit of alert and everything there. But regardless, we are still going to move in. It looks like we have been lucky and they haven't actually detected us, which is always good. And we are going to greet him with an arrow in the side of the chest. So we've got 2 bandits here that we obviously need to take down. We need to fight our way through to the actual bandit leader, which I'm not sure how many bandits are going to be in the way as we're going, but this is something that we'll obviously deal with. We take them down with, pretty much ease here. And so we will obviously just skipping ahead there, all the looting and everything, but we do manage to take that. Also change through into this nice winter pelt cloak. It's just a lot better than the burlap sack thing that we were basically wearing. Certainly a lot warmer as well for Throgir. And so we are taking time, obviously, just to make sure that we're collecting as much as we can from this area. Obviously, the more stuff that we can carry back, the more money we're going to get, obviously, from this quest, which obviously will allow Throgir to expand in the long run. And so we bring it down this, obviously with the intention of going into it, and we do actually hear that there are 2 guys discussing, so we decide we are going to greet them again with another arrow to the side. Seems to be the easiest way of dealing with these, and then we wait around a corner for them. They run around and what should happen but of course basically an arrow to the face. And this other guy we will take down nice and quickly, pull out our sword and axe, and there we go, he falls. And so again, skip ahead. Obviously, I'm sure you don't want to see the looting. You know how obviously that works, obviously. And one thing I will mention we are starting to do now is we aren't just looting everything. We're going to be a little bit more careful as we are actually getting closer to our loot limit, or carrying capacity, I should say. You will also notice there the spell Clairvoyance. think it's safe to say that very happy to get that. Very useful spell to have. Just makes things a little bit easier for actually finding where it is that you are going and things like that. If you get lost, certainly in, you know, the large dungeons and things like that, always a spell that I love to have. And so we take that guy did actually have a key on it. We go into that place and then get the rest of them, of the items that were in there, although I'll just skip ahead of that. And so we are getting close now, I do believe, to the actual Bandit Lord himself. I think that may actually be him, or if it isn't, then he is just about to come around the corner. So there we go, take that guy out, and there he is. There is the bandit leader, and we also take him down with a couple of arrows to the chest, and there we go. That is Throgir's first quest, has actually been successful. Not going to show you all of obviously the looting and everything like that. Obviously that does take quite a while, but I obviously go through, you know, have a look at what is the most valuable for the lightest weight and things like that. Managed to get pretty good stuff with this, and it puts me in pretty good stead. And so Throgir is now going to make his way back to turn in this quest and claim the money from it and everything, and then possibly look at upgrading some of his equipment. So I shall leave it here. I will quick travel back, and then we will pick up next time from Falkreath after I'm done all the buying and everything. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And of course, if you did enjoy it, please do be sure to leave me a like and a subscribe and all of that sort of good stuff. And I shall see you next time here at EGN.